1 minute, cried Albert, without giving Monte Cristo the time to reply. Take care, you are going to immure a traveler. Sinbad the sailor, a man who comes to see Paris. You're going to make a patriarch of him. Oh, no, said Morrel. My sister is 25. My brother-in-law is 30. They are gay, young, and happy. Besides, the Count will be in his own house, and only see them when he thinks fit to do so. Thanks, monsieur, said Monte Cristo. I shall content myself with being presented to your sister and her husband, if you will do me the honor to introduce me. But I cannot accept the offer of any one of these gentlemen, since my habitation is already prepared. What? Cried Morcerf. You are, then, going to a hotel? That would be very dull for you. Was I so badly lodged at Rome? Said Monte Cristo, smiling. Parbleu! At Rome you spent 50,000 piastres in furnishing your apartments. But I presume that you are not disposed to spend a similar sum every day. It is not that which deterred me, replied Monte Cristo. But as I determined to have a house to myself, I sent on my valet de chambre, and he ought by this time to have bought the house and furnished it. But you have, then, a valet de chambre who knows Paris, said Beauchamp. It is the first time he has ever been in Paris. He is black and cannot speak, returned Monte Cristo. It is Ali, cried Albert, in the midst of the general surprise. Yes, Ali himself, my Nubian mute, whom you saw, I think, at Rome. Certainly, said Morcerf. I recollect him perfectly. But how could you charge a Nubian to purchase a house and a mute to furnish it? He will do everything wrong. I know I talk a lot about superficial things about myself on the show without ever really going into my own past. I'm not trying to create some sort of enigmatic mystique like Dante is here. I just, separation of church and state and all that. I will say I spent 15 years or so out in Los Angeles, and through my various careers and exploits out there, I was exposed to a lot of interesting things. I don't think you can really pursue anything in Los Angeles in the entertainment industry or even adjacent to the entertainment industry and not find yourself swept up in something kind of wild. And I, on a number of occasions in different situations with different people, found myself in the midst of very wealthy people. What Dante is saying here, this probably doesn't reflect anything real deep about the story or who Dante is, but what he's saying here of like, oh yeah, I didn't want a hotel when I came to Paris, so I just bought a house. Honestly, sounds extravagant, sounds fanciful. It's not too far from the truth. And it's a little disgusting, obviously. But then, these rich people who do that, they are not in their home for such a long period of time that you end up knowing someone who knows someone who's like offered a chance to stay at that house for a short period of time. Look after it while I'm, globe-trotting. Look after it while I'm doing business in the Middle East. There are just weird ecosystems that happen in rich circles. It's strange. Anyway, Dante just asserting that he bought a house in Paris reminded me of that. But that also tells me that, he's maybe throwing that out there as razzle-dazzle, the term I like to use, get these guys caught up in the extravagance, but sounds like he's setting up an HQ for these plans he has for Danglars and Villefort and Fernand. How would you feel if you're Fernand and find out that the man you thought not only was dead, but that you were afraid would ever escape from prison, has immense wealth, has connections, and has set up shop right in your backyard? That sounds like a domestic thriller waiting to happen. All right, folks, I know we are right at the end of chapter 40 with only 2 more episodes to go, and I know that this has been a short episode, but there has been a heat wave while I've been recording, and I cannot even Like, if I was wearing glasses, they would be fogged up. And I feel like my eyeballs themselves are fogged up for how hot it is in this podcast studio. So my apologies for the short episode, but I'm going to call it there so I don't faint in my chair, because I have no one else here except my cat to wake me up. And I doubt she's going to go get a bucket of water to throw on my face. All right. Until tomorrow, when we start to conclude Chapter 40 with the penultimate episode and finally learn the mystery that we've all been waiting for, the conclusion of what these men are going to eat for breakfast. Maybe some chia seed pudding. I've really gotten into chia seeds over the last year. I've heard of this thing where you can make a pudding out of them. You can add some milk and a little touch of honey. And again, of course, you can't ever forget the fresh fruit. You know what? I actually think I'm going to go experiment with that right now. And I'm going to have that for tomorrow's breakfast. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. Goodbye. The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.